If you have ever been cheated on or betrayed, you know how quickly the story and the narrative can go from they betrayed me to finding out that you've started betraying yourself. It starts with them, what they did, the lies they told, but almost immediately the lens turns inward. Suddenly you're not just reeling from their actions, you're questioning your own identity. And this is the hidden cost that most people don't talk about for how betrayal affects you. Their betrayal often triggers a sense of self-betrayal. It feels like you failed yourself for trusting them. And so that anger and the hostility that's directed outward starts to get mixed up and tangled with this shame that you're feeling toward yourself. And most people don't understand that dynamic, so when you start to explain that, they'll just quickly tell you, well, it was their fault. Why are you beating yourself up? But inside of you, there's a part that says, I should have seen it coming. What is wrong with my judgment? Can I even trust my own intuition anymore? But then it goes a step further. In an attempt to fix what happened, regardless of whether you're trying to reconcile or you're trying to move on, the way so many people try to fix it, they start dissecting themselves and their own personality even further. You think if I just become more guarded, more cynical, I'll be safe. You start suppressing your natural warmth or willingness to trust the very things that make you, you. Part of you wants to move forward, but another part is ruminating, rewriting your own history, rewriting your own identity, just stripping layers of yourself away to try to find the flaw in you that let this happen. So much of the emotional exhaustion comes from not just the betrayal, but from the effort of holding up a new mask and a new identity that you're trying to protect yourself with. So many people end up losing themselves in who they are, trying to protect themselves. And I think one of the fundamental problems here is that for many of us, we have never truly processed the fact that sometimes genuinely horrible things happen to us that we have no power to control or to avoid. We want to find a meaning where sometimes there just isn't any. Sometimes it's as simple as they chose not to love you, they disrespected you, they betrayed you. Sometimes that is the entire story. And we feel helpless at the idea of not being in control of it. And so we find some way to insist it must be our fault. And that insistence that it's our fault goes on this never-ending search for what's wrong with me. And that's how it can so quickly spiral into shame. A lot of people get on calls with me just to kind of explore if we're a potential fit to work together. And that's the part they're so confused about. Like, why do I feel like an idiot? Why do I feel dumb? Why do I carry this shame? Especially when they don't. Like, they're the one that did this to me. Why don't they feel those things? It's because the betrayal didn't break them the way it broke you. And this is your mind's feeble but noble effort to try to build up a wall of defense. But you're losing yourself while building that up. And part of this all connects to just how trust works in relationships. Trust is this cord that ties who you are to who someone else is. Trust is a form of self-expression. And so when someone that you trust betrays you, it really does feel like a part of you is invalidated by it. Especially if you see yourself as a smart, discerning person, how could you have been fooled? And so your inner critic also activates from that angle, trying to protect you from future harm. But instead of guiding you, it often just punishes you. A lot of people talk about forgiveness in terms of the way that you forgiving your cheating partner can heal you. And that's a topic for discussion when it is and isn't appropriate. But even the betrayed partner has to come face to face with the question of, are you willing to forgive yourself? Are you willing to forgive yourself for trusting the wrong person? Are you willing to forgive yourself for letting your heart be handled by someone who you deep down had suspicions about? Forgiving yourself isn't about letting them off the hook. You need to learn how to separate accountability, which are, your boundaries moving forward, from responsibility, their actions. You are accountable for your safety moving forward. They are responsible for what they did and the harm that was caused. And there are several different strands of wisdom that can help reground you and re-anchor you. One of them is self-compassion. You must start seeing yourself as a friend, as a person you are responsible for taking care of, as a loved one in your care, not a criminal, not a case, not a patient, as someone that you love, as someone whose actions and reactions you genuinely sympathize with and empathize with. In addition to self-compassion, you need some clear thinking as well. like the hard dose of reality that you have zero control over other people's actions. And however you cope with that, whether it's faith or stoicism or determination, you are not in control. You never have been and you never will be. So think of the person, you, who was cheated on and who initially blamed their own naivety. That person almost hardened their heart forever. But through the process, they realized their capacity to trust was beautiful. It was courage, not weakness. They didn't have to become a different, colder, shrunken down version of themselves to feel safe. I don't often give a list of practical tips because everybody's journey is so different. But here are a couple you can try out. Don't feel like you have to go through all of them. If one of these jumps out to you, feel free to try it. One thing you can do is journaling the split. Take a piece of paper, draw a line down the center. On the one hand, label anger at yourself. On the other side, anger at them. And start writing out the differences. This is the clear thinking element. Start clearly attributing who did what to the right person. Number 2, practice self-compassion. This can either be out loud, it can be journaling as well. The part of you that you feel like might be naive, the part of you that you're trying to build walls up around, speak directly to that part, whether you view it as your inner child, whether you view it as the naive part of you, however you want to label it, speak directly to that part with compassionate words. Affirm your choices and acknowledge your mistakes. So affirming your choices means up until this point, wherever that point was for you, I was genuinely making the best decisions that I knew how to with the knowledge I had at the time. But then also own your mistakes. If there was a point where you knew that should have been the massive red flag where I got out of there before I got hurt, acknowledge that as well. Identify the day and time when you should have known better. A lot of ways that can settle down your mind's search for where you're wrong if you just pinpoint it and say, yeah, that was the specific mistake I made. Another tip is trust yourself. Don't externalize everything about the situation. A lot of people will go through the cycle of asking everybody they know a million questions. What do you think I should have done? What do you think is wrong with me? What do you think about this story? They'll tell the whole story to anyone that will listen. And they start to trust everybody else's opinions more than their own, because part of this loss of identity, this self-betrayal, is you often lose the ability to trust yourself. And so getting other people's perspectives is helpful. Don't get me wrong. Do not isolate yourself. But trust yourself while gaining little gleams of wisdom from other people's perspective. Even with me, if there's something that I've said that you disagree with, don't feel like you have to force yourself to believe it in order to heal. Ground yourself, whether it's meditation, walking, some way to get out of your head into your body. Time in nature is a beautiful thing. It's winter right now. Where I'm at, there's snow on the ground. Even finding ways to get outside, even if just for 10 minutes, get that fresh air, get the little bit of sunlight that's out there is so beneficial. And set boundaries for yourself, specifically the kind that reinforce your self-worth and the fact that you deserve to be able to trust both yourself and other people. Because healing from self-betrayal and healing from being betrayed by other people and the mess that those two create together, healing from all of that is possible. And it does not mean you have to change who you are at your core. And self-betrayal is often this initial reaction and overcorrection. By soothing that part of you, by showing it love, you're not giving anyone else a free pass. You're freeing yourself to be you again. Your trust can return. It will be a lot more wise, but it won't be destroyed. You do not have to lose yourself to survive this.